Jacob Dines, how much do you weigh?
Do you want the super serious citizen or do you want jackasses like us making content?
No, Travis Haley, you heard it here first. Your content is easy.
You know, doesn't get any gayer or more patriotic than that all at the same time.
To start this 2A Procast off real quick,
Yes.
Jacob Dines, how much do you weigh?
About 190, 195.
190, 195? Okay. Would you mind getting on the ground for me?
Oh,
for
no
a second?
problem.
Yeah, cool.
All right, you want me on my front or my back?
Go ahead and be on your back for me there.
On my back. There we go. First time.
Yep. That'll be the first time.
Do this.
No, just leave the beaver loose. There we go.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I'm a limp noodle.
Oh,
Oh, God.
he's my little baby boy.
Little baby boy.
Yeah. Can I get you over my shoulder here? Let's let me see.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Give me a squat in there.
Squat.
All right. There we go. All right. Okay.
Is it weird that I came? Was it good for you?
That was good for me, dude.
Was it good?
I don't know.
It was good.
That might have been a little too homoerotic.
I've had better.
Ouch. What are you talking about? I threw you like a ragdoll, dude.
You ran like a rag doll.
Make you feel like a real woman.
Yeah, that was a little too homoerotic for some of these viewers out here, for Botkin's viewers out there. You know, actually, so if you didn't know, now you know. The thumbnail and, you know, obviously the title probably gave it away, but this is going to be all about what's going on over there?
Nothing, dude.
All right. This isn't a Botkin bashing session. This is a we are setting the record straight. We are calling out absolute bad behavior in this industry.
Yeah.
And I wanted to address what I'm wearing right now, which I think is incredibly important. The reason why I'm wearing a polo, I didn't even realize it, but somewhere in between you showing me all of these videos from his podcast, right? These clips from his podcast. I don't know. I felt like I wasn't being serious enough.
Yeah.
And so I had to put on a collared shirt. So that's why I'm wearing a collared shirt in this Procast today.
No, that's good because as we all know, in the 2A space, comedy not allowed.
No.
If you're comedic, any homoeroticism, anything where you like to have fun,
right,
essentially, doesn't just mean has to be homoerotic. Comedy, sketches, dropping the F-bomb, saying funny words, not okay.
Yeah.
You're a bad representation of the Second Amendment and everything it stands for.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Oh, I know. So to those of you that are new, this is the 2A Procast. We talk about all things Second Amendment. It is a jolly place to be. There's a lot of chicanery, debauchery here and also down there in the discord.gg/2A Pro. It'll all be down there in the description. If you want to start business in the 2A Pro community, do the thing. It's down in the course. You'll build lots of products in the 2A space.
You'll make so many friends.
Make a lot of friends. Make good money. The enrollment to the course is down below. It is live and it is well. And that's all I have to say about that. Let's get into the... Okay.
I have
something else?
Yeah.
Some announcements?
Why don't you let me say things?
I am the alpha here. All right? You're the fucking beta.
I'm the beta.
Clearly, I was the one that got ragdolled around. By the way, did you guys, speaking of, that was the pickup of my body?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You want to put that into context for them, or are we just going to let the subliminal hang out? If you know, you know. Okay.
I want to make sure this is good.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, make sure we're running.
No, not running, just in correct position. Yep.
Okay, got
You
it.
saying, is it running, made me freak out if it wasn't running.
Oh, yeah. No, but the camera was running, right?
Yes.
You better go catch it. Fucking dad jokes.
Shit.
All right, anyway, go ahead.
So, just a couple little things.
Sure.
Mainly just one. I've got here inside my Stopbox Pro. If you don't have one.
Oh, dude. Yes.
If you don't have one, go get one. We have zero affiliation with them other than they're great dudes making a great product.
Yeah, the Stopbot guys are cool. And
yes.
we absolutely do not sell that product.
Yeah. This right here is my new Glock. Well, I've had it, but this is work done for me by my boy. Told him to get a little shout out. Tyler over at Tap Customs, link down below. He did some great work. Look at that shit.
Yeah,
Look at
that's
that shit.
beautiful M81.
Stipple work.
Stipple
It's
work.
gorgeous.
Yep.
With the arc slide.
That is titties,
Predator
dude.
V4.
The Tacticon Predator V4
Tacticon
optic?
Predator V4 optic.
Man, I
dude.
didn't like that until I saw the optic.
I know, me too. Anyways,
Anyway.
that's that. Go buy our t-shirts or something.
Anyway. All right, no, that's good.
On with the
That's good.
show.
On with the show. So, yeah. So today, if you haven't seen it, it may be worth a look. I'm not going to try to get you off this podcast to go watch Lucas's.
I can give a little
podcast.
breakdown of it.
But we are going to show you clips throughout this. We're going to show you clips throughout this Procast of just some of the atrocities that are going on. I wouldn't call them atrocities. I would just call them. What would you call them? It's really unfortunate because there was a time. I will say this with all honesty. There was a time when there was another comment from another person who said something very similar, and I resonated with it. When I first got into this industry, not in the content creation part of it, but just got into the industry, it was about the same time that Lucas Botkin got into the industry with T-Rex Arms, which is, I think it was right around 2015. I mean, I know I started in 2015. I think he was also right around 2015.
Somewhere around that time.
I looked to what he was doing. I most certainly didn't agree with everything that was going on or everything he said, but I had a lot of respect for him in the beginning. I respected the things that he was doing, the message that he was trying to push. Somewhere along the way, the evolution of his ego and his hubris began to turn me off of what he was doing. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of it was just because I started realizing that there was this like fork in the road where he was taking this self-proclaimed moral high ground. And those of us that were doing things like you and I do and having fun in the industry and also trying to inform people about the Second Amendment was not the right way to do it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that would be like, it would be like, I'm trying to draw an analogy that would make a little bit of sense, but I think the closest that I can get to is there are two ways to run medicine, right? There is Western medicine, there's Eastern medicine. And if somebody from the Eastern medicine community said Western medicine is completely wrong and it doesn't work, right? Then you shouldn't do. No, it's just a choice for people to make. Do you want the super serious citizen or do you want jackasses like us making content?
It's like Jerry Seinfeld saying George Carlin's not a good comedian because he doesn't like what he makes.
That is a beautiful analogy. Yes,
Both are great comedians.
straight up.
Yep.
I love it.
Both do different things in different ways and reach different audiences and make them laugh.
Yeah. And you can not like somebody. That's fine. But it doesn't mean that person is wrong.
Right.
Look, there is expensive cars out there and
yes,
there are cheap cars out
Yes,
there.
there are.
Is the person driving the inexpensive car wrong? No. Is the person driving the expensive car wrong?
Yes.
No.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
It's just
No.
the answer is fucking no,
No.
because not everything is for everybody.
Right.
And we're going to get into that in a little bit and how he starts trashing marketing and talking about marketing as if he is the marketing expert and he is the final say on that. And we will demonstrate and I will prove to you that what he says about marketing, he has no fucking idea what he is talking about. Because marketing by definition is targeting the market who is willing to listen to you, who has values that are shared with you, and offering them your point of view and your products.
You don't sell red paint to people looking for blue paint.
That's it.
Wow.
Yep. Pretty fucking simple.
So like for those of you who don't know what's going on in this situation, Lucas Botkin, content creator, company owner, he has his own little podcast where he decided he was going to talk about what's wrong with the 2A industry and marketing in the 2A industry. So what he decided to do for his thumbnail was put another content creator on there, which with the title, What's Wrong with the 2A Industry Marketing, and then putting another content creator on there in contrast to himself.
Yep.
Let's be fair, that is straight up indicative of I am what's good and this is what is bad.
Right.
Right. That is a clear answer to that. You might not think so. I make thumbnails for videos. That's what I get from it. Right? We might have differing opinions, but that's what I see. And that is also what the content creator thought. His name is Print, Shoot, Repeat.
Right.
Right? A lot of people love him. I personally like his content. But here's the thing with content. You don't have to love every piece of content from a content creator. Like, that's where we get into this extremist territory, which we're seeing, which Botkin has really driven into a lot of extremism recently with just all of his views. It's extremism or bust. But the thing is, like, people nowadays, they think to themselves, if I don't love all of this content creator stuff, well, then I don't like the content creator.
All right.
And it's like, no, you can just not like a video, or you can not like a piece of content. You can not like a joke.
Yeah.
And you can still like the content creator. Anyways, continuing on, he has this podcast, an hour-long podcast with him and one of his marketing guys, and they go on this tirade about what's wrong with the industry without naming names.
The strategy that I prefer, and I've talked about at different times, is calling out behaviors, calling out principles or concepts that are occurring or not occurring within the firearms industry, and presenting those to you guys with the why and the solution, and then you guys can take those and apply them to every company, every brand, every person, people outside the firearms industry for that matter. And it's not pigeonholed to one content creator that I've made a post about saying, this person sucks, which, you know, it's not that useful in the grand scheme of things.
And finally, at the end, barely just scrape PSR's name in there.
The childish entertainment stuff.
Like PSR.
Just remember who.
Is a lack of consistency.
And so we're going to go through and kind of dissect what he did and really just talk about what's wrong with this.
Well, for them to go through and start naming all the content creators out there without actually naming them by describing their content, obviously one of the examples was, you know, the guy that, you know, put breast implants on a mannequin and then shot it with a plate. The point that they were trying to make, and he's got a dude on there in his podcast. I don't know who the guy is. It's just somebody affiliated with his company, but we're going to call him,
Dude.
I don't know, Dude, his little friend.
His little guy.
And the guy said he's describing content, but he won't say any names. But we all know what those videos are. I mean,
Go back to calling out behaviors. I think it really comes down to being lazy or doing the hard thing. Most of what we see out there in gun industry marketing is what I would consider cheap entertainment, which I would correlate to laziness. It's super easy to just have cheap entertainment, to set up a ballistic dummy with breast implants to see if they're ballistic.
On Grand Thumb, can breast implants stop a bullet?
Or to trip and fall and stick a suppressor up your buddy's butt and
shoot 10 frying pans
drop
or
your
something like
pants
that.
and do wheelies or donuts on an ATV, right? Like cheap entertainment.
Came with the posse, chain looking Aki, ice with the hockey, playing in the margin.
he's talking about fucking Garantham video.
Garantham's video with our breast implants, like, ballistically helpful, or I can't remember the name of the video.
Bulletproof or something like that.
Right.
Right.
He talks about Dirty Kid, how they'll drop their pants and ride mini bikes and do wheelies, and he's like, oh, and you'll throw middle fingers up, and he's talking about this content, saying like it's so easy and it's so cheap and it's so just like easy to make that he just brushes it off as skillless.
Well, one of the things that he was talking about when he was going through skillless and easy to make content, he was talking about, you know, it's easy just to for a soft guy, a special operations guy,
oh my God,
to walk into a video and just make content. Okay, let's get something straight here. It's only easy for a special operations guy to go in and make training content because the man has endured years of actual combat.
Right.
Now, he's endured the hard times so that he can fairly easily sit on a video and talk about his experience and relay that experience to other people in his content.
Right.
Right. It's akin to watching a gymnast do 50 fucking backflips in a row and going,
wow,
yeah,
that looks easy.
That looks easy.
Yeah.
Are you going to hate the gymnast for
Well,
it? No,
that's easy for him to do that.
because he's done 50,000 fucking backflips
Right.
before he just did those 50 backflips
Right.
and landed on his head multiple times. The argument is it's irrelevant, right? So it is not easy to throw a special operations guy in a video and just make content because the experience that was needed to do the content in the first place was very difficult.
No, Travis Haley, you heard it here first. Your content is easy. Duh. You fucking loser.
Look, we like
I'm just kidding. I love you.
In jest, we talk shit. In jest, we talk shit a lot.
Yeah.
About like
We're
those
morons.
special operations guys. You know, you got Mike Glover like back in the teams, back in the teams, back in the
Of course,
teams.
we're gonna poke fun.
Dude, we're gonna fucking poke fun,
We're
dude.
comedians.
That's it.
At the end of the day.
All we do is just talk shit, not about everybody else, but also about ourselves. You know, we clown ourselves all the time. But the point is, I don't sit around going, no, back at the teams, I do this and very, very sick. But at the same time, I'm not talking a bunch of shit about him.
Right.
All right. Okay.
Right.
So
It's I think it's important to state we don't think of ourselves as a moral high ground to base anybody off of.
We are definitely on a moral low ground.
Absolutely.
If there's any,
If there's
I
any
don't even,
ground, it's the low one.
I don't even know if there's, I don't even know if we're above the ground.
We don't have the high ground, Anakin.
I think, yeah.
And part of this issue that I see is you have somebody who is very prolific in the space. Botkin. He is, whether you want to admit it or not. He's in the space. He's been around here for a while, and he still has 1.6 million followers.
And falling.
Probably. He still has this audience.
He
and,
does, yeah.
you know, you're speaking to this audience, and you're acting as this moral high ground, which everybody else should base themselves off of.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa there, buddy. What gave you that hubris?
Well, he's acting as a gatekeeper for what content creators in the Second Amendment industry need to be doing. He's basically saying, look, if you're not serious,
Right.
then you shouldn't be making gun content. And the reasoning behind that, the way he displays it in his videos, is other people are looking to the Second Amendment industry to represent a certain respect level, I guess. Like we need to be a good
With outside people looking in.
The gun industry is not taken seriously by people on the outside. We're seen as classless, buffoons, idiots, buds, whatever other stereotype you want to apply by people on the outside of the firearms industry.
outside people are looking in. We need to have a good representation of the Second Amendment. We've already got enough flack. We've already got enough eyes on us. Dude, they're not mad at the Second Amendment because we're making homoerotic videos. They're not mad at the Second Amendment because our videos are funny. They are mad at the Second Amendment because they don't like guns. You
Right.
fucking idiot. It has nothing to do with the content creators out there making content.
They
You know,
don't like people who make guns their entire fucking personality.
No, man.
Nobody likes that person, whether it's a shoe guy, whether it's a fucking car guy. Nobody likes that guy.
There was no politician scrolling through his feed that instead of coming across your very serious video, Lucas Botkin,
I wanted to be a serious company. There's a lack of consistency.
he happened to come across one of our dumbass videos of us with your
dildo nunchucks.
combat dildo nunchucks. And you know, Obama said, you know what?
I'm going to legislate
I'm gonna
guns even
start-
harder just because I saw
I'm going to
that
start
video.
controlling guns because I don't agree with this fucking video. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with they just don't like guns, man.
Obviously, he's never met a fucking Marine.
And his goal, dude. Well, I think the reason too, there's a lot of guys in this industry
love you, Devil Dogs.
that share the same humor as us that aren't veterans, but
Right.
there's also a lot of guys in here.
Well, that's me. I'm not a veteran, and I share that humor.
Exactly.
Right.
You're a perfect example of that. But most veterans that you'll find out there that have like done some, you know, crazy shit, the dark humor, the sadistic side of the humor, the weird shit that we do, the homoeroticism that gets plugged into all these videos, it's all kind of predicated on that vet humor. And I don't know, man. I think if he had an opportunity just to get over there and serve and like really get inundated in that, he would appreciate the humor a little bit more because it's that type of humor that kept us out of the very dark places when we were in very dark places.
Right.
Right. When you go through the extremes of combat and see the very unfortunate things that happen in those environments, it makes it easier through comedy to get through that.
Right.
Right.
That macabre humor.
And because I'm not saying because he hasn't done that, that's why he doesn't have a sense of humor, but I'm saying if he had, it probably would have fucking helped.
To me, being a non-veteran, kind of looking at that situation and having veteran friends like yourself and others, I kind of look at it, I'm like, he wants to be so serious in my eyes. I'm not saying this is what he is, but like I'm saying from my perspective.
Well, it's not your perspective. He literally says it verbatim.
Right.
I want to be
Right.
serious. And
I wanted to be a serious company. There's a lack of consistency.
What I would consider cheap entertainment.
I don't want to be funny.
Right.
The one thing I never wanted, though, was comedic.
He did say that. He did say
Verbatim.
directly, I don't want comedy. I don't want the entertainment. I want to be serious.
Well, it's because we have, and we could post some of them up here, but we've got examples of him trying to be funny, and he's like fucking not. So because of that, I think he was like, well, the comedy thing's not working.
Well,
We're going to go super serious citizen.
One of the things that I have such a problem with is while they're talking about the issue with content creation and how easy it is, this easy, cheap content that people are throwing out.
Or cheap entertainment.
He lists 3 different things like that are like main focus points that you should be looking at for your content. And one of them was like the class. One of them was, I can't remember, I blacked it out. And then the third was consistency.
Right.
Consistency being consistent in your message, your ideology, and the content that you're making. And then in the same fucking breath, he turns around and he's like, there's content I wouldn't make again.
Yeah. You know what that's but that's called I know it's fucking mind-blowing. But
So you're not consistent in the content that you make, is what you're telling me.
And you know why nobody is really consistent in the content that we're, and I mean fucking nobody, is because look at anybody that has started when they first started making content and look at where they are now.
Right.
And I'm talking, it doesn't matter if you're making, it could just be your family Facebook posts.
Right.
You get better at certain things. You realize I'm not interested in that more. There's an evolution of content because there's an evolution of interests. There's an evolution of your own values.
Right.
Things change within your own life that change the way you present yourself to the rest of the world.
Right.
And if you're not the same human being that you were, Lucas, like 10 years ago when you started the company, then, I mean, that's what's supposed to
happen.
fucking
You're
happen,
supposed
dude.
to change.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what consistency are you talking about? Another thing, as they were talking about the class, right? His little buddy.
Yeah, his little buddy.
His little buddy chimes in and he says, one thing that really fucking just really irked me is he goes, we all answer to a higher power. And that's not what gets me. What gets me is he continues to go on and says, yeah, so what are you going to do? Like at the end of the day, you're answering to your higher power, or you're saying to your wife or your kids, yeah, I just made this funny video for fun. I don't want to leave that legacy. And it's like, what legacy is that you're talking, like that you had fun?
Yeah.
That you made something for the enjoyment of it? Everything has to be a serious toil in your life?
Well, not to mention, let's just talk about the fundamental problem of that statement, which is my legacy is not what I film on social media. I don't think anybody's is. I
Right.
fucking hope not.
Right. God.
I fucking hope that anybody's legacy, serious or comedic, is not the legacy you want to leave for your family.
That is, yeah.
Like, that's not what we're doing
No.
here. Like, the legacy is what we're doing for our freedom, the Second Amendment, the impact that we will make on the industry.
It's not the funny videos that we put up on Instagram.
No, it's not. And here's the deal: is like his focus is on wanting to arm and equip citizens,
Right.
Right. And he's saying that if he could just be serious, then serious citizens will attract themselves to his brand.
Right.
Okay, that is a truth.
Great.
That is a fact.
Fantastic.
He goes into this marketing kind of diatribe,
Right.
Which we could put up here, where he starts talking about marketing and the meaning behind it, and why what he's doing for marketing is attracting a certain customer base that is going to be good for his brand. Yeah, man, that's what marketing is.
That's marketing.
Right? And so if he doesn't like the homoerotic stuff, if he doesn't like the comedic stuff, then his content is not for that person. Marketing in a nutshell is people like us do things like this. And if you're one of those people, you'll also come and join us doing things like this. That's it. Dude, our audience is not his audience. Maybe there's a little cross-pollination
Right,
there,
sure.
but nobody can capture the entirety of the audience. That's not marketing anymore. That is 1950s Coca-Cola advertising, where they're just trying to get as many fucking people
to drink
as
Coca-Cola
possible
as
to
possible.
drink Coca-Cola and capture the entire market share. For true marketing is really tapping into the values, the fears, the desires, the dreams of people,
Right.
right? And identifying who you are as a brand, and hopefully people will see you as that.
Right.
That is marketing, that is branding. Because if people don't look at you and say, if people look at you and say, this brand represents this, that's your fucking brand. It's not what you get to tell them. He's out there telling people, and this is where, and like I said, like 10 seconds ago, that's where his marketing knowledge kind of like ends, and everything else he said was bullshit, because real marketing, real branding is allowing the market to tell you who you are. You can't sit there and shove down people's throats. Second Amendment is serious. We are serious. T-Rex is serious. Hey, look, man, just be fucking serious. And people will look at you and say,
Right.
hey, this guy's serious about his training. He's serious about the Second Amendment. But like shoving that shit down everybody's throats is, I don't get it. I don't get to sit here and tell you that we are the funniest guys on YouTube. Listen, if you're not as funny as us, you don't count. It's up to our audience.
You make the Second Amendment look bad by being too serious. You need to be more fun.
It's not the way. It's not the way.
Imagine if we did that. It kind of comes across to me in this manner of, I don't like that other people are getting attention for things that I don't like.
That's it.
Thus, you have to be like me and do the things that I do, or else it's not valuable and it's not worthwhile in my eyes.
Right.
And thus, it doesn't matter.
Dude, he's out there making content. He's out there helping people.
Sure.
Lots of people follow him.
Absolutely.
And to each his own, and good for you, right? But the second you start walking all over everybody else and trying to get your 1.6 million followers to hate what everybody else is doing, you want to talk about driving a wedge between the citizens and the Second Amendment? That's a surefire way to fucking do it.
Dude, and it's just like, and quite frankly, to be in such cowardice about it.
Yeah.
To take this stance of, well, I'm just going to list some things that people do, and you can associate it to whoever you feel that fits.
But it's
Some
not.
of you guys watching this are probably hoping for some name calling. The strategy that I prefer, and I've talked about at different times, is calling out behaviors, calling out principles or concepts that are occurring or not occurring within the firearms industry.
The childish entertainment stuff.
Like PSR
Just remember who you're.
is a lack of consistency.
Not arbitrary.
You're
the
listing
exact
exact things that people are doing.
And then at the very end of the video, you're coughing
PSR.
saying the PSR
Like it's a
into the
fucking
microphone.
neurotic tick that you just had to get out.
And to me, that's akin to he's backing down from a fight, like in real life, if it were happening.
Right.
I don't want to fight, man. I don't want to fight, man. And then all your buddies come and grab both of you, and then you start screaming profanities at the person saying, I'll kick your ass.
Yeah, fucking bitch.
Now that all your buddies got you and they're hauling you away, yeah, fucking bitch, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah,
one of
is
those
he-
things. It's dude
is a vaginal secretion.
oh my god.
Yeah. So I just, he goes even further to start talking about how this content that's being made right now, the content that we're making is actually
And when we say
driving-
we're not necessarily just referring to us. We're referring to the entire space.
the entire
Yeah.
space. He's saying the content that's being created right now in the Second Amendment industry is driving a reduction in everybody's ability to show up in the algorithm. It's, we're all being shadow banned. He said there's been a reduction in everybody's platforms because these platforms are shadow banning us. We're all aware that,
That Google doesn't like us.
that social media doesn't like us, Google doesn't like us, YouTube, all that.
As Google pops in on your phone.
But what he's failing to take responsibility for is that as he goes further and further down this rabbit hole of I am better than you, it is driving people away from him, and he's not taking responsibility for that. And I think that's a problem that I have. He's blaming it on the industry as a whole, and he's not taking any personal responsibility on his own content. So if he's seeing less views on his stuff, instead of taking an introspective look and saying, what am I doing differently? How is my content evolving that's not reaching out and like touching my subscribers like it's supposed to?
Right.
I'm just going to blame the rest of the industry for it.
Right. It's everybody else's fault for making degenerative content that is reducing the stance and the seriousness of the Second Amendment, which is making people not watch my content.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Because PSR danced around in booty shorts with a fucking butt plug attached to his rifle. That's making people not watch my content
Right.
because they're corrupt. They're getting corrupted through sin.
Yeah.
Dude,
God is punishing the algorithm.
God is punishing the algorithm through me. He goes on to Twitter after his live stream, after his podcast, and he says 2019 the 2A community calls out the NRA for not being pro 2A or serious enough with their public image. 2024 2A community supports influencers doing homosexual stuff in the name of advancing 2A to the public. Dude, so you are so fucking off base and just in general. You're so off base. People were not mad at the NRA for not being serious about their public image.
No.
People were mad at the NRA for embezzling funds that they paid, that they donated to the NRA to fight for their rights, not fund somebody's yacht. You fucking jackass. How are you this far off unless it's some sort of fucking straw man whataboutism that you're trying to make here, where you're like, well, what about this? And it's like, that's not the point. Dude, you think about gay people more than gay people think about gay people.
He does.
Okay.
Nice.
I have never thought to myself, a gay man represents me. You want to know why? Because I represent myself. If you're thinking homosexuals represent you, maybe you need to look in the fucking mirror, buddy.
Yeah, dude.
Just throwing that out there.
That dude's thinking about dick more than the gay dudes are thinking about dick.
Dude.
For sure. Yeah. And then he goes on to say, I don't know if it was in that post or another post, that he said, keep in mind, I was the first or one of the,
I'll pop it up here.
I was one of the first people to call out the NRA.
He said, actually, I was one of the first to call out the NRA.
Dude,
you're not, you fucking asshole.
You weren't even fucking born before people were calling out the NRA.
Dude, you were not even in wave 10, dog.
This guy.
I was the first to call out the NRA. Do you have receipts?
Yeah.
Prove it.
Yeah. I don't think so, dude.
Which makes me want to bring this up, and I'll pop the video up right here.
A lot of foreign entities have actually reached out to me over the years and have asked if I would come out and train them. I've had England, Norway, Denmark, Germany, tons of countries like military units, counterterrorism units who've said, hey, can you come over? Because they're watching all the shooting content. It's good shooting. It's better shooting than most of them have access to, at least at the time. Things have gotten better in some of those countries.
Do you have receipts for that, dog? Do you have receipts for all these counter-terrorist groups reaching out to you because you've been producing this content that want to be trained by you, all these different countries? Do you have receipts?
Yeah.
If you have receipts, fucking put me in my place.
England has reached out to me.
On this.
He's like, all these countries are reaching out to me because they really want my training. No, dude, I can imagine. It's like you and I were talking about a little bit earlier. I can imagine that it was some 16-year-old commenting on one of your posts that said, I'm over in England. It would be really cool to have training like that here, right? Or it's some fucking private in some military and I don't know, Italy or whatever country that he named saying, dude, yeah, that'd be really cool to have some training like that over here. But by no means is this any decision maker or shot caller from any other military.
Why have you not been training counter-terrorist groups?
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Throwing that out there.
Throwing that out there.
I think.
Are you looking for it right now?
I'm looking for it right now.
Well, while you're looking for it,
Okay.
I am going to go back to the marketing part of it real quick. As I was talking about,
That's good because this will flow into that.
He goes into talking about marketing, and he's talking about Gary Vee. If you guys don't know who Gary Vee is, he's just an online advertiser, online marketer essentially. And he's like, yeah, I was at, listening to one of his events, and he was talking about, left hook, right hook, sucker punch.
Marketing.
And he goes, yeah, and I really related to that because that's exactly what I do. Listen, guys. Okay, first of all, that is not what Gary Vee talks about, and he doesn't. He may bring it up in his speeches and his conventions that he holds, but his book is called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And what Gary Vee is referring to is that you jab, 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 and then you give, and then you ask. You jab, 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 right hook. You add value, add value, add value, add value.
And then you ask.
And then you're like, hey, we also have this product. So you build trust, build trust, build trust, build trust. Hey, here's this thing that we make. We make it for guys like us, and guys like you might like it too. Right. And that's kind of the right hook. And okay. So the dude he hasn't read the book. He saw a clip online somewhere, completely got the context of everything wrong, and even got the naming convention of Gary Vee's process incorrect. So
don't forget, he was the first to call out the NRA.
Dude, it's just the shit that comes out of the dude's mouth. I'm like, hey, I've read the book, bro.
Dude.
Like, literally what you're saying does not make sense. It is incorrect, and that is not what you do.
I fucking forget what the name
That
of
is not your marketing.
I can't remember what the name of his clause is. The disingenuous clause. That's what he says.
I actually introduced a disingenuous clause.
Play it right here.
Oh, he's got a disingenuous
Yeah, his
clause.
little disingenuous clause where he doesn't anymore use the best clip from shooting. And it's like, sure, there's a time and a place for that.
Yep.
There's a time and the place for just letting people see your mistakes. Absolutely. We're all human. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But also to that effect, you are producing content. You should not be wasting people's time. Right? There is a time and a place. I 100% see that. But like, it's also like I guess it makes sense because he doesn't want to produce entertainment.
Yeah.
So it's that tracks. Never mind. Disregard, because you're not trying to entertain in any way, because it has to be serious all the time.
Yeah.
But like for me, if I'm going to produce,
Well, he is trying to entertain because in
the same breath.
one of the clips, he rewords what entertainment is.
yeah, so
He's like,
I never wanted entertainment. My strategy back in the day was, hey, we're going to create cool content that's interesting, that captures people's attention. Is a lack of consistency.
we're trying to do things to captivate people's attention and keep them intrigued.
yeah,
Right?
to intrigue them.
Hey, that's
Entertainment with extra steps.
That's entertainment, but you just like
It's communism with extra steps, bro.
you just defined it.
Yeah.
Is all you did.
Yeah.
You just didn't say
So
the
we
word.
don't
There's a
want-
word for that.
Our
It's
goal
called-
is not to be comedic or entertaining, but we want to capture an audience and intrigue them to watch our videos.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you need a fucking dictionary?
No, that was.
I know.
Yeah. I'm like, listen.
Which is another point
I'm
in
not
his disingenuous nature.
I'm not trying to do comedy here. The whole intention
Is to make people laugh.
to make people laugh. I'm like, okay. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe lighten people's day with a slight humorous retort of some sort.
Right.
That's called joking.
My intention is not to make a suspenseful film. My intention is to keep you captivated through moment and moment, scene by scene, not knowing what's going to happen, then give you a plot twist at the end of the film. That's a suspense. That's suspense.
Yes, that's suspense.
That's what it is.
We have a
Yeah.
word that wraps it all up, and it's called suspense. So I back on that marketing thing, how we've talked about captivating a specific audience, right?
Right.
I think it's important to bring this up, and I'll pop this photo up here. This is the type of audience that he is captivating and that he is marketing to. And this is a fucking... Okay. I feel, in my own personal opinion, that this is a fucking problem. Again, I'm not a moral high ground. Do your own thing. Don't hurt other people. Simple as that.
Sure.
Right? Simple as. This guy, he goes, we don't want diversity. Another guy comments back, he goes, tough cookies, humans are diverse, and every human has a natural right to protect their body, family, and property. He goes, I agree. It is our duty to evict the unwelcome guests. They can protect all of that in their own homeland. He goes, this isn't about immigration. He goes, brown people go home. Another guy goes, you're going back to England, bro. He goes, unlikely. It's very easy kicking non-Anglo ass. So, like, these are the type of people that he's marketing to. Another person, Hitler Actual.
This is real.
This is fucking bothersome.
This is actually the most bothersome thing that you'll hear in this entire podcast right now.
Yeah.
Is the interaction that he has with this dude named Hitler Actual based on the things that he was saying. Now,
granted, we can't guarantee that Lucas has gone through what this guy has said, but when you see somebody with the screen name Hitler Actual, I thought he replied to this dude's comment. He did, but
okay.
I'm saying maybe he hasn't clicked on him and seen what else he has posted.
It doesn't matter because this comment clearly indicates what he's about.
And it's also a screen name Hitler fucking Actual.
Yeah.
And he commented this thread that you're about to see on Lucas's post. So
which some of the shit is just so
outrageous.
It's so outrageous that it's got to be blurred out, right?
Yep.
Because the dude's dropping N-words with hard R's and
Dude,
I mean, when you get into some of his other comments, he is.
I'll read this here. So it was under his 2A supports influencers doing homosexual stuff. Hitler Actual says, and I have to bleep myself out. I have to play the algorithm. I'm sorry you don't like it. Okay. He says, lots of in the 2A community. This is what you get when you allow libertarians in. Lucas comments back and says, and when nobody is willing to speak up about it. So not bad, but you're also commenting to somebody named Hitler actual. This is one of the people that you're communicating with.
Right.
And
And then what was some of the? Did you screenshot some of the other shit that dude was saying?
I'm trying to find it here in my stuff.
Yeah, because that guy went on to say
A tirade.
like a tirade of things that you would actually hear Hitler saying.
Yes.
Probably why
Hitler
he calls
actual.
himself Hitler actual. Yeah. The while you find that, the other
Got it.
you got it.
Yep. So he goes on to say, it's not for everyone, nor it should be, referring to the Second Amendment. This guy in response, okay, well, good morning, Lucas Botkin burner. So like a burner account.
Basically, this
Yeah.
dude is just calling Hitler actual
Actual.
from being some secondary Botkin account.
He says, so who exactly shouldn't get their Second Amendment rights? Keywords, rights. Hitler actual, gays, blacks, etc. Didn't think you'd actually say it, Botkin burner. So why do you hate African American and LGBTQ people? Because I'm
Hard to
just it's right here.
Yeah, it's right here. We're not going to say it.
Yeah.
But this is
Yeah.
his audience, and
This is who
I'm not saying his entire
No.
audience. What I'm saying is like these are the type of people that he is attracting. We obviously wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't entertain any
Right.
bullshit
And
like
so,
that
and
on our
so
platform.
so here's why that gets to me is because we've seen it before. We've seen him comment to this guy. I've seen him comment to this guy more than that. And he has commented to people like this, saying this stuff. The thing is, it's like, Lucas, you base your whole ideology off of your theology, pretty much, which is off of your Quiverful movement, right? And that is a sect of the Christianity movement. It's a more extremist version of the Christianity movement. But did you forget he who has not sinned cast the first stone? Did you forget that Jesus hung out with prostitutes and thieves and his whole message was grace, acceptance, and forgiveness? That it's God's place to judge and it is not man's place to judge? I'm not even what I would classify as a Christian. Are you forgetting this?
But his intentions are very clear because then he walks through his intention of what he's trying to do with his content.
Right.
And I think his exact words were, he said, I wanted to see what people thought about me. So I said, if you could sum me up and my content up in one word, what would it be? And he said, so many people commented ideological. And he said, good. That's exactly where I wanted it to go because
propaganda, marketing, and one other thing.
it was a propaganda and ideology. I mean, there were a couple other things in there, but he was like, yes, I am here to propagandize. I am here to
Spread
push,
my ideology.
to spread my ideology. That is what I want to do. And then he goes on to say, I don't know if it was in that clip or another clip, that products are secondary.
Yep.
Products are secondary. And in marketing, that can be true. You could have a marketing company, like you had mentioned, that just happens to sell a particular type of product. I get that. There's a lot of companies like that. But his purpose is for the propaganda. His purpose is not for the Second Amendment
Right.
in general. He makes it clear that he has an ideology that he's trying to spread, and he keeps an ecosystem of people around him. You know why I think he behaves like this, genuine? I don't think he has like
No men.
Yeah.
I don't think he does either.
Dude doesn't have. I've certainly done things where you're like, no,
Yeah.
happens all the time, right?
Well,
I'm like, hey, dude, like I'm thinking about doing this, and you're like, no, man, I don't
and
think
vice
that's
versa.
Yeah, it happens. It goes both ways, and good friends keep good friends in check. That's it, dude. If you have, there's a lot of people in this company, in our company at Tacticon, that they are not afraid to tell me when I have a stupid fucking idea.
Right.
They're not afraid to tell me when I'm going down the wrong path. Right.
Right.
And those who know me well understand that, like, I will accept that. I'll chew on it. I'll think about it. And oftentimes I come back and I say, yeah, you're right. I probably shouldn't go down that path. But when you build an echo chamber of people who think like you and are terrified to fucking say anything else that might contradict your way of life and your thinking, you end up with, this podcast.
Yeah.
Where nobody's like, hey, man, maybe you shouldn't trash everybody else in the community because this could really tarnish your brand or your image. He says, fuck that. I'm going to create what was it? The thing that he had for his company? It was an injunction. What was it?
I actually introduced a disingenuous clause.
We just talked about it.
God. So much rage, dude.
It was the fuck.
See, you can't remember it either. Don't judge me.
No, I can't. No, but you had just said it. I
Oh.
forget what it was. It was God damn it.
Ideological?
No, it was I'll go long form.
Okay.
He created a framework for which all of his marketing is built into, right? And that framework, he called it something, and I can't remember what it is right now, but it keeps everybody confined into only making content like that,
Right.
right? And hopefully you could pop the word up on screen.
Yeah,
because you
I'm
mentioned
sure
it.
I'll sure will be like, oh, that,
Yeah.
skip out.
Anyway.
Oh, yeah, it's,
And then he goes on to, he said, what was the comment about behind closed doors?
oh, yes. Somebody, here it is. Somebody said, why the fuck should I give a damn who does what with who behind closed doors? And why would that matter in the gun community? Lucas responds, it matters when they're publicly representing us. I don't care what they do behind closed doors either. LOL.
All right, so you don't want gay people representing the Second Amendment?
So to me, that is openly saying, hey, I don't want gays involved in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No gays here.
Yeah.
Hey, straight people can own guns, but gay people cannot own guns. But what they do behind closed doors is their business.
Yeah. Which you've openly spoken against. So
Yeah.
where there's the consistency problem again.
Right.
There's the class and consistency problem.
Yeah, you don't get to come out here and
Disingenuous clause?
announce. That's the word I was looking for.
Disingenuous?
The disingenuous clause, right?
Perfect.
So that was the clause that he basically put together for his
Right.
company to fall within the confines of what he was
Right.
his propaganda.
We
that he was
won't
trying
be
to push.
disingenuous, except in this one post, I'm going to say, I don't really care about it. But in the other post, I'm going to say, I don't think gays should be gay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you don't get to do that.
Yeah.
You don't get to sit there and rake gay people over the coals and then be like, I don't really have a problem with it. But then say, yeah, but they can't represent the Second
Yeah,
Amendment.
they can't represent the Second Amendment at
Dude,
all.
they don't represent the second. We don't represent. We are all our
All
own
gun owners
representation of the
Yeah.
Second Amendment. Like we all together have some level of representation of the Second Amendment. And if it is a problem that let's call it, I'm not saying that there aren't Republican gay people, right? I would assume, I can only run under the assumption based on like my own experience of what I've seen that when if you took 100 gay people and you said, how many of you are like Republicans and how many of you are Democrats, I would assume a large portion of them would be Democrats.
That would
What
be
else?
an interesting. That would
I-
be an
and I
interesting
don't know.
study.
I don't have the facts on
Right.
this. But if you're trying to arm citizens,
Right.
all citizens, all American citizens, and bring them into the fold in the Second Amendment, wouldn't it be wise just to accept the fact that if gay people were running a channel on content creation or representing the firearm industry in any capacity and supporting the Second Amendment, that would also further perpetuate and help the Second Amendment and help armed citizens?
Right.
I would assume that it would,
Right.
right?
But if
because now you're taking that stigma away from you're pulling people who would normally be like, well, I identify as a Democrat, so I'm automatically not going to like guns, to people that are like, yeah, I'm a Democrat, but I can accept the Second Amendment. That should be where we stand. That's what we're trying to do here. I'm not saying you have to go from Democrat to Republican. There's plenty of different values on both sides.
Yes.
But we're trying to say, hey, this is a fundamental right
Yep.
that we have to protect ourselves. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, it shouldn't fucking matter. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. I don't know why the fuck it is. It is a constitutional right to bear arms.
Right.
This should not be a debate on a bipartisan line.
Mm-hmm.
This should be a bipartisan treaty that we all come together with and say, hey, let's just accept the fact that we have a right to defend ourselves.
Right. You want everybody to have guns. One, that's part of the dangerous freedom part.
Yeah.
And two, if everyone has them, then no one can take them away because they're commonplace.
That's right.
Ah!
Yeah. There goes the inconsistency again. The inconsistency really, for me,
I only
and
want
what he's
you
saying,
involved in my hobby
that's it.
if I like you.
That's it.
This is great. So this is a tweet from someone. This is about him responding to Hitler Actual.
Right.
And this is from Armed Joy on Twitter. He says, the sheer irony of screeching for an hour about how benign things other people are doing are bad for 2A marketing, and then immediately go on to agree with Hitler Actual about how evil the gays are and how Jews control the porn industry.
Dude.
Consistency.
Right.
And class.
Lack of class.
Oh, so I want to say this because James Reeves fucking dropped such a hot burn. James Reeves, TFB TV. James Reeves.
Love that man.
Fucking
It's James Reeves.
James Reeves, TFB TV.
So hot right now.
So hot right now, James Reeves. He says, imagine talking this kind of shit and sounding like Flounder from The Little Mermaid. One more thing I feel like I want to touch on, and then I kind of want to move on to a little bit. Let's touch on some memes, maybe anything more you've got, and then I want to talk about Sean Strickland for just 1 minute before we close out.
Right.
His little fellow that he brought in one breath, when he's talking about the class and tasteless content and easy content, he's talking about how it's easy, tasteless, and classless to swear, to make these easy videos, right? Mr. Beast style content, or just shooting stuff and not provide. So in one breath, he's saying this, F-bombs, not okay. And now, then in the second breath, in his next breath, he says, but like then you have people like Brandon Herrera who used it to run for Congress. Now, mind you, I love Brandon. He's a friend of mine. I watch his content. Brandon Herrera makes meme content and swears all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, where's your consistency here? Well, Brandon Herrera's a shining example because he ran for Congress, but I'm just going to ignore the fact that he says fuck all the time.
Yeah.
Because it's a good example for me at this moment.
There wasn't a whole lot of thought put into what they were talking about. There wasn't really even a lot of thought. I think it was, I don't know if it was towards the end or not, but he talks about his mission statement, right? Lucas like pulls this mission statement out of his company.
Oh,
but he doesn't just pull the mission statement out of the company, because a mission statement is something that has a foundation of values and what you represent and what your company, the direction that you want your company to be kind of represented to the world, the way you want your brand to be seen, the mission that you're trying to accomplish. And it should roll off the tongue, even if it's not verbatim every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so he decides
to pull out a piece of fucking paper.
He's like, hold on, I've got my mission statement. I got to pull it out of my wallet here because I can't memorize it.
Now, I also want to remind everyone, and I pulled this out of my wallet because I don't have it memorized, but the why T-Rex Arms exists, our sort of our strategic slogan and motto is to secure.
Hey, Jake, what's our mission statement?
Every American citizen has the right to protect themselves and the right to defend themselves with fair and reasonable equipment, regardless of their budget.
Wow.
Right? And now that is not even verbatim how I wrote it, but in a
mission
sense,
statement.
You get the mission statement. I may have dropped a word here or there, but it doesn't matter. The fundamental value of our company is that every American has the right to fucking protect themselves,
regardless of their budget.
And regardless of their budget, and we want to be able to provide affordable firearm equipment and defense equipment for them. And I can say it a million different ways without actually having to pull out a piece of paper and fucking read it, because I know what it means to me, and everybody that works in this company knows why we do what we do.
Right.
So for the owner of a company to have to pull out a piece of paper and then reference why he does what he does shows me that is not why he does what he does.
No, he's trying to push an ideological fucking whatever he believes on his viewer base.
How do we know that?
Because he said it right here again.
Yeah.
I would actually argue T-Rex Arms is, and we did a fun little exercise on my Instagram, what's one word to describe T-Rex Arms? And a lot of them were ideological. It wasn't at all related to product. It was related to marketing and propaganda concepts. So I'm most interested in marketing, branding, propaganda, and messaging.
The thing that actually should have been silent and written down.
He said the quiet part out loud.
He said the quiet part out loud.
I'm most interested in marketing, branding, propaganda, and messaging.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. Yeah.
It's disappointing. It's disappointing because
going through all of it and
breaking it down,
watching it and breaking it down even before we got on the podcast, I almost wish we would have just done it live on the podcast, because I'm actually so fucking tired of talking about it
dude.
right now.
I know. We should have just like done a react.
I know.
Yeah.
Done a react.
But so like I want to. he does whataboutisms, right? So
Yeah.
instead of answering directly like a goddamn adult, which
Right.
he's 31 years old, even though he looks like he's 12, he'll say the same guys defending homosexual behavior from gun influencers probably support OnlyFans porn stars speaking at the upcoming RNC convention. How is that good for America exactly? I still haven't heard a good answer. Again, that is a whataboutism. A whataboutism is where you go, well, what about this? No. We're saying that you're a jackass, and just because somebody made a gay joke doesn't degrade the Second Amendment. Now you're like, oh, well, these guys are probably the same ones who are okay with a porn star. Shut up, you fucking nerd. Answer the fucking question, asshole, or take your licks. God, I'm angry at him.
I just listen. If you guys could get out there and just, Nolan and I, we've talked about this. Nolan wants to fight him.
I want to fight him. Cage match.
Full blown cage match.
Yep.
If we just make this happen, that would be fantastic.
Yep.
With enough pressure, you can get, Jake Paul or whatever the fuck his name is to fight Mike Tyson. Or I don't even know if that's happening anymore. But
Lucas Botkin, my ideology versus your ideology, cage match. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
You get enough people talking about it, it's eventually going to go down.
The fight is an open invitation to you.
Yeah.
MMA rules, so we'll fight in a cage. Kicks, punches allowed, no elbows. I'll even hold back on knee strikes. Okay?
Lose the bet, pay what debt? What are we thinking?
Ooh, that's a good point. If he loses, he's got to put money into the LGBTQ fund.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
Gay Gun Owners America. I don't know if that's a thing, but we'll make it a thing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And then what would we have to do? What do we have to do?
I don't know, but we'll come up with it. Maybe leave a comment down below. What we would
Stop
have to
making gay content for a month.
just forever.
Oh.
Yeah. How about
Oh,
that?
shit.
We can't do anything homoerotic ever again.
Oh.
Yeah. Stakes are on, buddy.
Stakes are on.
Stakes are on. And I like mine rare.
Right on. What else do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about Sean Strickland real fucking fast because this kind of falls into the same line of somebody shoving their foot in their mouth and just being an absolute asshole. Those who don't know, Sean Strickland is an MMA fighter. He likes to get in spandex and roll around with sweaty men and hit them and bleed all over each other. Blood play, essentially, is what they call it.
Naturally.
Yes, and he likes to hold them really tight and try and choke them. So Sean Strickland goes on the internet and goes, "What's more gay, LARPing as a medieval knight or LARPing as an army man? You gun guys dressing up like Rambo on weekends and shooting paper targets is the definition of cringe, LOL." And this is another one of those things. It's in direct line with what Botkin was doing, which is he sees something, he doesn't like it, so he has to be on the extreme and say, because I don't like it, it's not okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of some types of music. That doesn't mean that it's not good music.
No.
That just means I don't like it.
Yeah, it's just not for you, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not for you, dog.
Yeah.
Some people like chocolate ice cream. Some people like vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
Some people like both.
It's very true.
Yep. And so it's like, dude, if anything, if you think about it, LARPing as a gladiator is a little bit more gay.
Yeah. A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out. The dude's dressing up
In
like
our
Rambo.
opinion.
Yeah, in our opinion. The dude's dressing up like Rambo and shooting paper targets on the weekend, LARPing to, prepare.
Sure.
In my opinion, it's a little bit more manly than getting half naked and sweaty and rolling around with a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, breathing heavy on him,
Breathe.
grabbing him, holding him tight.
Licking a sweat.
Yeah, just really tasting at him.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think, like, to wrap all this up, I want to make it really clear that it goes along with what you were saying, that just because we don't like something doesn't make it not good. Now, we can understand that banging pots and pans together inside of a kitchen and calling it music, that's bad music. I don't think there'd be anybody out there that likes it or doesn't like it. Maybe, but the reality is, we as content creators, or we as a company, make products for very specific people.
Right.
We make content for very specific people. People that match our values, people that match our psychographics, demographics, whatever it is. This person here says, I really enjoy what that person is doing, and therefore I'm going to watch that content. And the more of us that get out there and find our own kind of tribe that they can,
Right.
that they can talk to and communicate to, the better off the Second Amendment is going to be in this industry, right?
Right.
Period.
Right.
That's it. There's a plenty of content creators that, I will scroll past them and go, and I'm not going to say who they are, but I'm not sitting here talking a bunch of shit about them and then giving you an exact example of their video.
Right.
And hoping you can draw a conclusion on it. But what I will say is I'll come across him and I'll be like, this guy's a fucking dweeb. Why is he doing this? Well, he's probably marketing to other fucking dweebs that are like, hey, I identify with that guy.
Right.
He's kind of a dweeb like me, right? And if somebody has, full-blown autism, then they come across my content,
me.
your content, and they're like, that guy's like me.
Yeah.
I can totally identify with that.
Well,
And-
it's a perfect example. I don't like makeup content because I'm not a chick and I don't wear makeup.
yeah, but we're not on here talking about making
That's a lie.
content.
I
Yeah.
wear makeup all the time. But it's not for me.
Yeah,
I can say it's stupid, right? But that's my opinion,
sure.
right? And it's all your opinion too, Lucas. So stop spouting it like it's some moral hierarchy that everybody needs to judge themselves off of. That's the most annoying bit.
I think the real purpose of like what we're trying to do here in this podcast in general is just what I would like to convey is how I understand what he thinks he's doing is protecting the Second Amendment. What he thinks he's doing is something magnanimous and doing better for our industry and better for our country. But with a following like that, saying the things that he's saying, doing the things that he's doing, what it's actually doing is it's tearing everything apart.
Right.
The effect that this is actually happening, that is actually happening, is driving a wedge between American citizens and the Second Amendment.
Yes.
In general.
Right.
And it's dangerous, so much more dangerous on his level because he has such a big following that I hope more people come on and talk about it. More people have podcasts about it because I think we all have to understand, especially those that are just getting into the content, that find him, that are impressionable, that are young men who, I mean, look at the indoctrination that happens with like terrorism, right? And extreme Islamic terrorism. A lot of those guys find their way into that online. They will indoctrinate themselves through social media channels. And, obviously, ISIS had done a very good job of that, of being able to recruit. And I'm not comparing, I'm not saying Lucas is ISIS. What I'm trying to say is, Lucas, you're fucking ISIS, dude. You're ISIS wrapped up in Christianity. No, that's not what I'm trying to say here. But just hear me out. But the point that I'm trying to make is young men
Yes.
who are impressionable find their way oftentimes through social media and through YouTube, especially those who did not have strong values instilled in them. Now, I get it. What he's doing right now is, whether he's doing it on purpose or just inadvertently, is potentially bringing people into his ecosystem that are going to also dispel other people eventually who could find their way into the Second Amendment.
I'm most interested in marketing, branding, propaganda, and messaging.
And I find that to be dangerous for our rights overall, right? And for what we're all trying to do here, which is just spread the good word of why we need to be able to protect ourselves. Right.
And everybody has that right. It's the right of the people.
That's it, man. That's it. And so saying we do things this way and everybody else is wrong, if they don't feel like, and it goes the other way too, if they don't feel like they identify with that, if he's the first person they come across, which oftentimes it probably would be because he gets served in the algorithm more than everybody else, it may turn them off for good.
Right.
So
I see that. It comes across to me as a little bit of a temper tantrum, because he mentioned his numbers dropping a little bit.
yeah,
It comes across as a little bit like because other people are producing content that they like better, they're not watching me as much. And so people need to watch my content because the other content, it's not okay.
yeah, and there needs to be some personal accountability that maybe
I think I already said that, but whatever.
yeah, but maybe the trajectory of your content is
Needs to change.
is the thing that's causing your numbers to go down.
Maybe your
Not-
consistency problem.
Maybe it's a consistency.
Maybe it's a consistency problem.
Yeah.
I don't really have much else to add other than, dude, we're all just people trying to be happy, man.
Yeah.
We're all just people trying to be happy.
Yeah.
Stop hating.
All just squirrels trying to get a nut. We're all just Americans trying to get a gun.
Everybody wants to have a full belly, a roof over their head, and somebody that loves them at the end of the day.
Empty balls.
That also. Girls just trying to empty their nuts.
And that's all I got, man.
Think about this thought real quick.
Yes.
If gay people are able to get an entire month out of the year and turn every industry on the planet to celebrate gay pride, right?
Yes.
Imagine what they could do if they were all into firearms.
Damn.
Every fucking industry on the planet.
That is a hell of a thought right there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah. They got an entire month, right? They have a huge
I
representation.
don't see straight month.
No, there's no straight month. No. Straight month is July.
Right.
No? Yeah.
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 Yeah. I saw a funny meme that said, I just wanted to congratulate all the major corporations out there for finally being able to be straight again. And the month of the suit is on July 1st.
It's
I was
so
like,
good.
yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works. Yeah. And Joe Rogan had a funny clip one time. And he was talking about what the comment that Cy made on Duck Dynasty.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
The thing that got Duck Dynasty canceled, where he's like, I don't understand how one man
can look at another man's butthole
and be attracted to it. And then he goes
That's normal for a heterosexual man to say.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, it's normal. But second of all, it got him canceled. And you wonder why it got him canceled, because that is the power of the LGBTQ community, right? You say some shit like that, they will... They hold the fucking cards to literally destroy your entire show. And if they wanted to, his joke, right? And this is all Joe Rogan saying this, not me, but the joke was if they wanted to, they could ruin duck hunting for everybody.
Yeah.
All they got to do is get a little white dude like chained up inside of a duck blind and
Getting
a big
railed by black dude.
just a big black dude coming
Now
in.
duck hunting's gay for everyone.
Duck hunting is gay for everybody. They can make duck hunting gay.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, right?
What I'm
why
saying
not,
is we
why
can
not bring them on the fucking
We can
team?
make guns a whole lot gayer.
And all I want to do now after watching that podcast is make the gayest possible content that we can. I don't know how that's possible though, because we've gotten pretty gay. You think I wanted Nolan's sweaty nuts on my neck? Who was on whose neck? On the first 4th of July video.
I was on your neck.
You were on my neck.
Yep.
All right. I picked you up.
Yep.
Nolan's ball sweat was dripping down the back of my neck while we were both shooting firearms. It doesn't get any gayer or more patriotic than that all at the same time.
Right.
You can be gay and patriotic.
Have you ever seen Brokeback Mountain?
I've done it.
One of the best films ever made. They had to get a little gay for that movie.
I know. I wish I could quit you.
Anyways,
Anyway,
be a good person.
be gay.
Whatever.
Own guns.
Do whatever you want.
Don't be gay.
Don't hurt other people.
No.
Yeah. That's the moral of the story.
That's it.
Don't be malicious. Let people live their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let people create content.
Do what content you want to make.
Yeah.
And stop saying other people are making. No, that's fine. You can say that. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But don't be a little bitch about it.
I guess
That's the important part.
That's
Yeah.
the important part.
And with that,
We bid thee.
Aquif.